Hello everybody, long time no see. Welcome back. I'm Tilly the Comic and we're back with another episode of Tilly the Comic Cooks. And today's episode is about a vegetable that I have learned to love. This recipe comes to us from my friend Jenny, who is now a vegan, and she taught me an amazing way of cooking kale. And because people have sort of mixed feelings about this vegetable, I thought I'd call the episode "To Kale and Back." You're welcome. So, as always with Tilly the Comic Cooks, I like to drink. So, I have my glass of ice, and today we're just going to make some a fun little vodka soda drink. But I got some other stuff to tart it up. So, I found this stuff. Q grapefruit mixer. Juices can be kind of harsh or super high in sugar. This definitely does have sugar in it, but it's only 90 calories for the whole bottle, so that's not too bad, and I don't use the whole bottle. I sound so fucking old. I used to drink whiskey cokes all night long, and now I'm like, I'm gonna have a little vodka soda. Anyway, so got that. I got my platinum vodka, which, as you know from my other episodes, I'm cheap. And also, as of this episode, I've been out of work for 11 months. So, we go the cheaper route when we can. This is actually really smooth vodka. And it's only like $8 for this, you know. So, there you go. I also have my SodaStream soda mixer, which... Of course, you know I'm not big enough for a paid ad, but I love this thing. I love the environment, and I'm trying to cut down on plastic, and I used to buy tons of bottles of plastic soda water and, you know, drink a ton of LaCroix, and I've got these. They comes with these awesome reusable plastic bottles, and you can get more and then eventually recycle them, but fill it up with filtered water, then, kind of sexual, stick it in, push it back, and then 1, 2. Oh, close. I like it really fizzy, so I go all the way up. So it does that, which probably I shouldn't, but I do it anyway. Now it's super bubbly. And by the way, when you buy the canisters, you get 50% off the next set of canisters when you return them. So they actually reuse and recycle them, so I like that as well. Super bubbly. I'm going to throw a little bit of my grapefruit soda, probably about 1/3 of the way. You know I'm a lush, so we're going thirds. Do our 3 count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. A little extra for love. Top it off with soda. All right, beautiful. Then I forgot to grab this, so I'm going low. I'm going low. I am out of limes right now, and they're kind of expensive, so I sometimes cheat with this stuff, the cheapo. But I just like a little bit of tartness. So boop, put that in there, and then I can tell my kid or my dog got into the ice. Okay. Then let me get my reusable straw. Normally, I shout out Sawtooth Glassworks for the really pretty straws, but I recently joined the Grove Collaborative, which is like, get a little monthly subscription and you get really good products for the environment and for your house, especially if you have dogs and pets. And I decided to pull the trigger on it. We don't have a lot of money, but that's one thing I feel like we can afford a little bit of. So it comes with, when you sign up, you get all this free shit. I'm into free shit. And these are reusable silicone straws. So I'm going to mix it all up. And let's taste it and see if I like it as much as I like all my other crap. I mean, wonderful drinks. Oh yeah. Tart, refreshing, a little sweet. I might add a little bit more of this. Just because I have a sweet tooth and I like pink things. My dog's barking outside, so pardon me while I go beat him. He's been killed. No, I'm just kidding. He's old. I wouldn't do that. I'm waiting for nature to take its course. I know I'm a bitch. Anyway, got that made. So now we are going on to the kale. And I learned this cool trick from Jenny and from other plant people. Kale is kind of like a flower, so when you get it, you can keep it for a while and it starts to get limp. You know how men do. And I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. You can cut off the ends and stick it in water, like, you know, fresh flowers. And so I let these get really kind of gross and just perked them right back up in water. So that's a handy trick. Next, we are going to cut the leaves off the kale. I have actually already washed this because I wanted to. But you don't have to wash it when you cut it off. You can just wash it right before you cook it. We are fully washed. I have this nice big pan. You need that. You want a colander just so you can tear the leaves off, you know, into it. And then you want, sorry, I'm going out of view. My dad hates it when I do this. I really forgot about this part. You got your colander, and you can cut it or you can tear it. So I'm going to use this first, even though I might tear off some of this yellow, like really, really yellow stuff that looks like it's getting kind of rough. But other than that, it's pretty good looking. This is curly blue kale, which is one of my new favorites. And then I also got, these are mustard greens, which I was thinking Will Ferrell. Mustard is made from mustard seeds. So, got that. And then here's the curly blue again. And again, this is from my good friend Jenny. And if you like broccoli, you're probably going to like kale. And this is one of those recipes where you'll take a couple bites and you go, oh, I don't know. And then you'll keep kind of going back for it until you just crave it. And like, same thing happened to my husband. He didn't like it the first time I made it. Second time, kept trying it. Now he likes it. Even my son, the same thing. And he's 10 and he does not like vegetables. Except for broccoli and like carrot. You know, he's not too, we're starting to get him into salad. But he actually likes this, which is pretty awesome. So this is an Asian flavored kale too. So first, you are just going to tear it off like this, right? And you don't actually have to tear it too small. I kind of tear it down along both sides. Or if you're fancy, you can use a knife and slice along the side too. That works. But you have to tear it anyway, so I just kind of do it like this. Again, I'm tearing pieces like this. Oops, kale down. Kale down! Sit the kale down. So we're going to just tear that. And then when I come back, I'm going to show you how I tear the mustard greens. Because they're slightly, oh, and there's some dirt in this. So I think I might, after I'm done, I'm going to re-rinse this as well. Which you should anyway, because you want a little bit of water in it to help steam it. So I'll be back when I'm done tearing the dwarf lettuce or kale. See, I'm so awesome at my job. Okay, so the reason you tear the kale from the stems is this is really tough. It's gonna take forever to cook this down. So Jenny says she typically chucks it. We have a compost bin, so we'll probably throw it in there. If you've got chickens, they'll probably eat it up. The blue is really fluffy. So what I'm going to do is I rinsed it off and there's a little bit of moisture in there. I am going to turn my heat up to about medium heat, a little slightly less. I am going to now let that get warm. We're going to add, I already have water on my stuff. I'll be adding some oils, which I'll tell you about. But yes, kale is it's a hardcore. Doesn't break down easy. Mustard greens are a lot softer, but they're still a little hardier than like romaine lettuce and those kind of things. I'm told that you can like massage these with like salt and lemon to get them ready for salads. I like it cooked. So while this is heating up, I'm going to wait until this gets about sizzling hot. I'm going to pour in, or a little close to sizzling, not like scalding hot. I'll test it for you and then I'll show you, okay? Okay, to show you how warm it is. See, just a little bit, not like, you know, crazy stuff. So I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil or canola oil, just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I don't add a lot because I don't like the olive oil flavor to take over this particular one because it's Asian inspired. And then I got this awesome sesame chili oil, which is the bomb. It smells so good and it adds a little bit of kick. Okay. Ooh, look at that. You see that? That's pretty. All right, and we're going to swirl it together. I love this pan. Okay, so because this lettuce is a little bit more intense, I think I'm going to start with this one first and throw this in there. And you can hear it. All right. And then I'm just going to tear these guys straight in there while it's breaking down. And this, you can see, it's not as firm. It's a much looser type leaf. So I don't think it takes quite as long, depending. So I just kind of tear that up like crazy. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry, I should show my tears. Maybe I can do that like that. Show my tears. So you can see, got my tongs. So I just want to get this kind of started. Normally you would just use one kind of kale, but because I have it and I want to make a lot of it because we eat this up in like one day. So I figured maybe if I make enough, it'll be a little helpful. And by the way, you can add a little bit of this water that you put the kale in just so you can start steaming it and breaking it down. So while we give that a quick steam, do this, cover it up, give it just a quick steam. I might turn it down just a hair. I'm going to keep tearing this stuff. And we'll be back. So I've decided to save some because there was quite a bit of it. So I'm going to throw this in there, start steaming that with the other stuff. Now that's got a little bit of a head start. Okay. Again, I'm going to add just a hair of water just to make sure it has enough time to steam and start breaking down. Okay. So we're just going to steam this for about a minute, and don't be afraid if it smells a little funky while it's cooking. I promise you it's going to smell so good by the time you eat it. Okay, so there it is. I'm putting these guys in, incorporating them. I decided to save some because I just didn't have enough room in the pan. I don't like the way that one looks. I don't like the way that one looks. Okay, but these guys also have deceptively huge stems too, and they're still tough, not quite as hard, the mustard greens. All right, we'll be back with the next step. Okay, so we've let that steam for about a minute to 2 minutes. I didn't touch it much. Part of it's starting to get a little charred, and that's okay. So at this point, now that it's been broken down, you want to add your flavors. So, this is one of my favorites. Soy vey, very, very teriyaki. They also have an island teriyaki. You're going to want to just lightly, oh no, I hate when it does this. Hold on one second, I have to fix the top of the teriyaki. Brand new teriyaki sometimes have all the sesame seed up at the top. And so you gotta kind of push it back in and then shake the crap out of it. And I had used it a little bit once, but there we go. Okay, so now you're just gonna kind of lightly shake it. If you are a measuring person, I would say let's start with 2 tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons. You want it to have a nice little coat on there. I probably put in 3, so that's probably going to be enough. We'll see as we cook it down. And you're going to stir it in there and really coat it. Alright. And then you want to add, and you don't have to, sweet chili oil. The sesame chili oil will have a little heat to it. So if that's, kind of your limit, or if you don't want to add it and just use the olive oil and the vegetable oil, you can do it that way as well. So I like to add sriracha. In a couple minutes. Let's have another sip. There's still a little moisture in there, which is good. My friend Jenny said, you definitely want to keep it moist. I'm going to turn the heat back up now till it really breaks down. Now that it seems like it's mostly broken down, now I'm going to spin it around the pan, really get it nice and flat as I can. I've turned it back up to just under medium heat. This pan gets pretty hot, so you'll see. Now you're going to want to let this start cooking down. It's really a dark green. It looks really good. The mustard greens are a little bit lighter. That's okay. Everything is coated in, and look I can taste, here I'll taste a piece of the kale now. Well, it doesn't scald me. Okay. Broken down. Starting to get teriyaki. Oh, and that's just enough spice. If it didn't taste spicy at this point, I would add more. Okay. All right, yummy. So, again, little teriyaki, little sriracha, and my son is rolling around in the back like a loon, and I'm gonna have to pause, unfortunately, and beat his ass. Okay, he's dead. Just kidding. He's not old, but he'll learn, I hope, someday. So again, this is gonna cook down for a few minutes. I was gonna tell some jokes, but I'll wait until my son gets back on his headphones for virtual school. Okay, hopefully I've been recording all of this. As you can see, this pan is getting pretty dark. So I'm now going to turn down the heat to medium-low again. We are trying to get this pretty dark and crispy. I'm going to leave it like this for a second. Well, let me check. Oh, no, I should. So you can see the sauce is starting to caramelize. One side is kind of dark and coated. It's almost getting, now it's starting to get like chip-like. Ooh, this is not our, it's going to be a very, very dark teriyaki green. So it's going to be awesome. And so I'm going to actually drop this to a little under medium-low just because this particular pan and this particular burner get a little hot, but I mean, you can hear it still sizzling, so that's good. I'm back from having 2 surgeries. I had a pin put in my toe, and I had a carpal tunnel release in my hand. And while I was healing, a stitch popped. And so now, if you can see, it looks like I kind of have a vagina right here. There's the clitoris. It's kind of sexy, right? I do feel it lends a little bit of authenticity when I'm giving my husband a hand job. And as he likes to say, it's a twofer. And my toe, don't want to show you. I call it my Franken toe now because it's just so gnarled. Like, it's just, yeah. Hopefully someday it'll be smooth, but they did 2 separate surgeries and it ain't pretty. But I can wear shoes, so that's a bonus. I can wear shoes again instead of a boot. All right, we are pretty much done. You know, a little bit more. I'm gonna try it. If it's still got a little too, I'm gonna cook it down because you want it almost like melt in your mouth. And the one thing to do with this for sure, I've left it in the pan to think it's like, oh, it's gonna crisp more and it's gonna cool down that way. It won't release because of all the teriyaki and sriracha. Ooh, that's got some heat. I got a piece with a good piece of sriracha on it. You can see the kind of chili flakes in there, as well as the sesame seeds. And again, you don't really need to add, you know me, I'm a spicy bitch. I love little powders and, you know, concoctions. But this stuff is perfect the way it is with the sweet chili oil, or not the sweet chili, sesame chili oil. I keep saying that. I think it's from an old restaurant gig I had. And then as well as the sriracha and the teriyaki. You are all set. And if you are a big soda drinker, or soda water drinker, definitely get that. There are soda flavorings you can put in. I haven't found any that I'm so in love with. You can do lemon and lime essence and then do your own simple syrup. That's really good. I haven't tried any of the root beer, the colas, but the soda water and the fruit flavor essences are really good. All right, I'm gonna toss the kale one more time. See how it's getting kind of clumpy and hard, and it's getting really dark in there. This is about the time where you can kind of, if you want, you can turn off the heat, you know, and let it kind of cool down on its own because it's still, but as soon as it's kind of close to cool, in about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to take this off and we'll finish from there, okay? So I'm covering it. I'm going to actually leave it just a little bit tilted so not a lot of moisture builds up because you don't want that. And if you feel like the lid has a lot of moisture on it, maybe give it a quick wipe because these things don't get dirty when you're cooking kale. And then leave it like that where there's still enough good, you know, inch of space. And we'll check back for the very end, okay? And thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. All right, continuity freaks. I put my lipstick back on. Anyway, cheers. I forgot to do that like I always do at the beginning. I apologize. Here's the So it's been about 5 minutes. I am getting a plate out of the cupboard. The best thing about this kale is, well, it'll probably be gone within the day. But even if it's not, I just leave it out on the paper all night. Because you don't want to refrigerate it because it'll get moist or mushy. So as long as you eat it within 24 hours, kind of like kale, I mean, I don't know how industrial kale chips are made. But I do it like that. So I can't really hear any sizzling left. There's a little bit of air releasing, but now's the perfect time because if you don't hear any kind of sounds or air releasing, that means it's probably gonna, see, you can already tell it's gonna get a little quick. And see how they're literally like crispy burnt chips? That's exactly what you want. And then you just keep gently scraping. Oops. I'm spilling some, but see how they're like legitimate kale chips. I serve these over rice with some fish or, you know, anything you like teriyaki style. Tofu if you're a vegetarian or vegan. Fish or steak or, you know, Korean barbecue ribs, you know, Kalbi style ribs, whatever you like. My camera just cut me off, so we're back. I put it on a plate. It is ASMR, crispy, okay? I don't remember if I said this, but you can leave it out for 24 hours on your counter. Don't put it in the fridge. If you want to put it in a cold garage, maybe, but I think this is fine. We've done this multiple times. Ooh, so spicy and good. Again, play with it. Have fun. Let me know. Try it twice. Don't just do it once. Try it twice. And sometimes you're going to add too much. You don't like it. Try it again. Maybe add a little less. And as it's cooling down, I don't add much, but I like to add, I keep it on the heat. I add a little bit of water so that you can start soaking off that kind of burnt teriyaki. Again, you don't want to like put a whole bunch of cold water in because it'll warp the pan. Keep it on there. Just pour like a quarter cup, you know, just enough to coat the bottom. I'm still chewing. It's good. Each piece is going to be different textures. Anyway, cheers. Tell me how you like it. Thank you so much.